Hello, hello. Oh, wrong button. How's it going, everybody? Happy Friday. It's been a bit of a week for me. It's nice to just sit and chat for a little bit. It's gonna be a short stream today, though. Probably just play around with a couple things, nothing too intense. But one thing that did happen this week, kind of ruined it before, but I'm involved with Tauri, the Tauri project. Have been for some time. It's good to finally see version 1.0 come out. So I think mostly what I'm interested in doing today is just kind of plucking around, and I want to take a step back and kind of experience Tauri from a user point of view. Been doing a lot with, from the other side of the curtain, as it were, for some time, and I think it'll be nice to just use it on a couple of projects. And I imagine a few of those might end up pulling those in on stream at some point. But Kitty is coming to say hi. Hi, Kitty. So we did there's been a bunch of works done on the Tauri docs, which has been nice to see those get developed more. And I think we have a toy app. I already have it loaded here. Apparently I pressed the button twice. I don't remember from when this was from. It's probably been multiple months at this point. So it's probably not even worth trying to pick that back up. But I wouldn't mind trying a couple of plugins too. That we have a plugins around here somewhere. Guess we don't have a. I thought we had a list of plugins on here. There is also a repo called awesome-tauri, and I think yes, we have a list of plugins here. Okay, and we do have them marked as official as well. Okay, cool. I wouldn't mind trying a couple of those. If there's anything that seems interesting to play around with. So we've got Vue CLI. I'm definitely more in tune with React. So I suspect if we try anything, it'll likely be React based, but I'm more interested in the actual like window functions and internal stuff, I think. Interface with hardware security keys. That's kind of interesting. I didn't realize we had that. I mean, I recognize the name. I didn't realize that's what that did. So you've got some templates that people have spun up with Dino. Interesting. I know we had talked about doing Dino bindings at some point, and that other priorities sort of took its place. But we've had people spin things up like this, which is using Dino and some of the lower level libraries like Rai, I believe. They're listed on here. Modules. Dino and Rai. Yeah, so I think it's mostly using that. Seems like it. There's some interrogations which are fun. The file operations and tray app stuff I think is the most interesting to me personally. Window shadows. That might be kind of fun to play with. Yeah, you could see a little bit. Picture doesn't get any bigger. You can see there's a little bit of a shadow around the edges there. And this is also, I think, using window-vibrancy. Yeah, there's different. So you can do a web view. There's a couple pieces that are going into this. We've got the window, which is the box around it. And then we've got the web view. And the web view also has a color to it. But what you can do is you can hide both the container around it and handle that yourself. And make that white background on the web view transparent. Or just, get rid of it basically. And then you're basically left with the desktop. So you can do some things. I think there's a is this it? No. Somebody did like a search thing, I think. Oh. Oh yeah, yeah. This is in the vein of like Postman, I believe. Music tagging app. Time machine inspector. Card games shuffling utility. What? Huh. Kind of wish they would have screenshots. I think that's kind of the key there. Seems like Magic the Gathering card game related. It's been a long time since I played it, and I haven't played it much, so. What else do we have? Local SMT server. SMTP server, rather. Echo. Oh, interesting. It's kind of a nifty idea. I mean, this kind of stuff, I just go on Google and drop it on a Google search. I mean, it would be kind of nice to just have something that I can drop it in, and I don't have to like pull up a random web page every time. It's kind of a neat idea. Oh, a little Zettelkasten. So Zettelkasten is, I got. Is it opening there? What I tend to use is I'm trying to put it on something that I guess I can do the graph view. Graph view. So I use an app called Obsidian. Definitely don't have as many notes as it feels like I do. or this view isn't as impressive as I would expect it to be. And I think you can kind of use any note-taking app as a Zettelkasten, but that's like a kind of a productivity note-taking organization term. I believe it's German for something. I don't quite remember what is Zettelkasten. Zettelkasten. I don't remember what it stands for. It might not even have a translation. But anyways, oh nice, I got a web version of it too. It's kind of nifty. Cool. I appreciate the cat picture. What else do we got? Orange. Maybe this is the one that I was thinking about. Don't think it was. Endless drawing canvas. Oh, that's sort of fun. What's an MB tile? Oh. MB tiles files. So is that like actual mapping thing, or is this a video game thing? So view a tool to view and inspect MB tiles without needing to run a web server. I think it's for actual. Oh, good to see. Thanks for the raid, SomeAntics. I think these are actually like map tiles. I don't think they're for video games. That always cracks me up. Hey, B1 Mind, good to see you. We are. Thanks again for the raid, Ben. The Tauri project 1.1.0. So, kind of just poking around the awesome-tauri, and we might do a little bit of a short stream, but I might try out a couple of the plugins today. But I was looking for. We were talking about this plugin called. You saw I had some YouTube content from streaming it last night. Nice. Yeah, I've been involved with the project for quite a while. And I did some streaming on it end of last year, I think. I think that sounds about right. And then I took a little bit of break from playing around with that, and it was from a while ago. Yeah. So I took a little bit of a break, and we finally just got 1.0 at the door. So it felt like it was a good time to do another Tauri stream since it's been some time. I think. I mean, many of these like smaller, like we had experimented with the tray app. I think I would like to do more of that kind of stuff, but I don't know that we're going to be doing, at least on stream, too much as far as like Tauri project itself, but potentially like using Tauri. There's a couple of projects that I wouldn't mind doing that Tauri might make a good use case. Thanks for the follow, Melanie. Well, no, Mulaney. I got that right. Yeah. I read it too fast the first time. And yes, so we were talking about this Windows vibrancy, and that you can actually make the web views like transparent, which enables some projects like I was trying to find it, but it's sort of in the vein of no, come up, come say hi. It's in the vein of Raycast, where you can have this like I'm trying to think of how to explain it. This sort of like opaque window that you can see the background with, but also like it doesn't necessarily have to be a square or window type shape. Like you can end up doing, you could literally have an SVG of a star and have that be like the only part of the web view that you see. Don't be shy. So we were. I thought we had. Or I had seen a project that was doing something like that, and I was seeing if it was on this list. But I'm not seeing it at all. So they might not have gotten it on this list. There's some IPFS. You just did a stream of an IPFS, didn't you, Ben? I wanted to watch that, but I didn't. I missed it, so I'm gonna have to watch a replay. Check out the. Somebody is adding space drive. Oh, you had to reschedule. Okay. July 12th. Oh, that's a while away. Okay, cool. I'll have to. AC issues. Dude, that's cold. That's a bummer. It happens though, you know. Yeah, I'll have to try to catch that. I think distributed stuff like that is nifty. It was specifically not cold. Did you hit the heat wave right as that happened too? I know this week on like Tuesday or Wednesday maybe, it got like it went from like 50s to like 95 degrees. It was bonkers. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, you're in Texas too. Oh no. Oh no. Was it? It sounds like it was out of nowhere kind of thing. That's rough. I we replaced our AC like a year or two ago, and we ended up just doing it preemptively because ours was like I don't know 25 years old or something like that, and I'm like yeah, I don't want that to happen. So I'm like it's old enough. It's seen better days. Let's just get it done. Yeah, so this is kind of a nifty idea too. I've seen a few of these like oh apparently it has is this an actual like term? How long ago was this dubbed, as it were? I feel like I've seen other things that are sort of in this vein where okay, 2018. It's not too long ago. Other projects where they are doing like virtual file system stuff. Man, I can't remember what it was. What was that? I don't know. I can't remember. It'll come to me. But I think the idea here is this actually looks pretty much like the Finder app on Mac. That's funny. I'm like, why does this look so familiar? I think the idea here is that you can have multiple, like, file storage on your computer is one thing, but then you have network storage from potentially multiple places, and then once you start thinking about the like peer-to-peer type storage, then the existing file system storage layout starts to fall down. And I think this is kind of particularly because they mentioned peer-to-peer there. I'm presuming that's where it starts to fall down, and it makes sense to have extract that out from just an OS type thing. There was isn't there like a space? Oh, like I think it was space drive now. Was it IPFS? Yeah, there's the Filecoin thing too. I'm not. It seems to want to get crypto stuff included in some of this, and I'm most curious about the peer-to-peer part, not anything for it to do with the crypto, because it seems like crypto tends to fall back into crypto coin, which is just fraught with fraud. I'm not gonna remember it. It's not that big of a deal. But what do we got? 20 after. Yeah, I think we can. I think we'll try this real quick. Shouldn't be too hard to put in here. We can just spin up a quick app and play around with it. Actually, what version of Volta list? What version do we got here? I should probably make the bigger. Node 16. Yeah, that's probably fine. npx create tauri-app. Can you see the little cat head popping in here? I don't have the fancy command like you, Ben. Like you do, Ben. Can't type dash tuna. But the real life thing pokes us that in here too. All right. Very needy kitty. Okay, yes. The any key. It's hilarious. Fortunately, I'm allergic to cats, and she is very much a cuddler. That we're shedding all the time, aren't we? Yeah. Let's call it windows-vibrancy. We're gonna run with create. Which one did I do? Create vite. Yep. Yes, we want the API package. I'm just gonna assume that we'll use it. I'm gonna go with Preact here. If you're unfamiliar with Preact, Preact is a, how do you describe it? It's not really an offshoot of React, but it's an alternative to React with the intention of making a small bundle size. So it removes some of the features of React, and the the value behind that is that those features aren't things that people necessarily need to use. And if what you're doing fits into the smaller feature list of Preact, you can get a much smaller bundle size, which is nice. So we can do npm. Yeah, we can start up right away. We'll let it start compiling. So Tauri is built on. I gotta go into the folder first. Tauri is built on Rust and whatever build system you want, or whatever you want to do to deliver HTML, CSS, JS, WASM to the web view. And then Tauri will bundle all that up into an app. So we'll have some Rust builds in here. The first build is going to take a little bit of time. And actually, I forgot to let's tweak the test manager before it starts building and blitzing my CPU. Yes. Run OBS faster, please. Clearly, it's been a little bit since I've updated my index too. So the compile for Rust programs can be a little bit hefty, and it is CPU intensive, which is why I just did that. It's giving priority to the streaming software I used called OBS to prefer that over everything else effectively, because I don't want this view to stutter. But right now we're just fetching. We're literally just updating our index, and that's me not having done this for a little bit. So once this is done, then it'll actually start. This CPU will start going a little bit crazy because it'll do the build. It'll wild. Yes, docs. Got distracted by that. So do note there are some differences between systems. Much like on the web, there's different browsers. With apps, there's different different platforms that you need to also support, and they all don't quite have the same APIs and support. Let's see. So we just chuck this up at the top. This is on Windows 11. So it looks like all of these are supported. Apply, blur, apply. So I think we can just chuck these up at the top. So this is tau. Where do they put it? We use window-vibrancy, apply blur. Okay, so they have it within the main function. So a little bit of background on Tauri. Tauri is a combination of a couple Rust packages that have been built up over time. There is a package called tau and a package called rai. Rai is the part that handles the web view. The web view is the hooks into the system-based browser. So Windows, the system browser on Windows is Edge. The system browser on Mac is Safari. And Linux is a little bit of a toss-up, but GTK is most common. people have their choices in Linux, but that also means it's hard to support everything because there are lots of choices. And then tau is the window part of it. So Windows is effectively encapsulating the web view. Okay, so now wow, my index is updated. Now it's just downloading. Whew, that was out of date. It took some time. So you can actually use these separately, tau and rai. But Tauri is taking both of those, and apparently I need to update my Rust too. Rust up. Update, right? Yep. Rust up update. Guess I wasn't that far behind. Only a version or two. So Tauri is taking Taur and Rai and doing all the bundle parts of things and giving it all a nice API, or wrapping the API up in a kind of one thing. So that there's the Astrodon, which is using it's built with Dino, and that uses Rai, I believe. So they have taken the piece of just the web view and they're using, I believe, Dino has some built-in windowing stuff. Don't quote me on that. But you can kind of mix and match pieces, which is the intention behind this. So we should be able to just drop this right in our Tauri main, I believe. And it also works with Winit. So if we look at our build.rs, no, main.rs. Let's see what that does. Is Rust Analyzer gonna format for us? Doesn't seem like it's going to. Did I turn it off? All right, well, let's try to start it up. See what it does. So in dev, we're going to be doing kind of two things here. There's we're going to run a local server, or it's configurable, but the setup with Vite is to run the local Vite server, so we get the hot reloading in the actual window. And okay, now we're getting the compiling. And then it's going to start up the window, the Tauri dev server that includes the window. So we'll give that a minute. I think that we're kind of down this rabbit hole of looking at window and transparency. I think maybe we try to make like a shape that is non-rectangular. Hey Lucas, it's good to see you. Just playing around with Tauri stuff. Waiting for build now. Is there anything else that we wanted to look at in this list while we were waiting for this? An RSS reader and podcast client. So you can kind of see too, I wonder, let's see what space drive shows. So this appears to be using I wonder if that's using the actual Chrome or not. So we can look at the, ooh, they got a different architecture. Kind of like it. Core. Is this where Tauri lives? Okay. This might be a. So it looks like they've got some multiple different clients. Landing page maybe? Mobile server. Desktop. And we can do there's a tauri.conf.json. I'm pretty sure that's built in Tauri now. You can actually do separate configuration files for different platforms. So let's see, window. So window decorations, I think. Decorations, true. So this one does include it. So it is using the native window Chrome. Decorations, true. Yep. So these are probably going to be the things that we're going to tweak and play around with. Pull those up in the docs here. Guess that's probably in the configuration. I think that's mostly where we want to be looking for it. Window URL. We're just going to do window config. So I think this is mostly what we're going to be playing around with. No. Windows config. Different than window config. Here, okay. So decorations would be the chrome around the window. Boy. So the Rust is building. It is taking some time, especially because I'm streaming. So I don't have two separate computers, one for programming, one for actually handling the stream. So it's my CPU is basically doing both streaming and compiling Rust right now, which are both not insignificant tasks, which is why this is going to take longer. But once it's done, much of this is cached. And the things that are rebuilt are just like your code that has changed. So once this finishes, we should only have to compile and build a couple things every time, which will make it much faster. So this should change the window itself. I don't know if that's actually going to change just Does it say anything about decorations there? I mean, this is more on the Tau side of things. So there's also, if we remove the decorations, which is the Chrome that goes around it, yep, it's only going to rebuild the files that have changed. At least the packages. I'm presuming it does on a per file basis, and that all falls back to Rust incremental building. There was a bug. I don't know. They're in what 1.6 something. There was a bug in like 1.5 something that they actually had to turn off the incremental builds. But I'm pretty sure they're back on now. Use of undeclared crate. Yep. Okay. So when we run yarn or npm run tauri dev, we've got kind of a wrapper around this that's starting up both the tauri Rust process, or I guess just in general the Rust process, and also our front end server, so our front end dev server, in this case Vite. So anytime we save, it's actually going to also rerun it. Cannot find value window in this scope. All right, well, let's take these off for the moment just to get a good clean build. And if you've never worked with Rust, and you have worked with other languages that have awful error messages and have conditioned yourself to ignore errors, the error messages in Rust are incredibly helpful. So I've got a plugin in VS Code called Rust Analyzer that did I turn it off? I might have actually turned it off. There was a couple issues with it in the context of Tauri a while ago, and I don't know that I actually turned it back on. I suppose I can just search, what is it? Rust Analyzer. Looks like I got it on. Okay. Oh, here. It's configured as formatter, but not available. Sure. Okay. There we go. Now we got the Rust Analyzer working. The formatting working. Anyways, so Rust Analyzer is a VS Code extension, and I presume that they've got other extensions as well, and that does like static analysis on your code, and will give you helpful hints on what each of these things are. And Rust is very much about the type system, which can feel painful to kind of get and understand, but it also means that between Rust Analyzer helping you out to get those right, and the compiler also, they kind of work off of each other. If you can get the code to run, it's probably going to be pretty good. You're not going to get random like undefined errors that you might see with React. Okay, so we have our window. The first thing, so when it starts up right now, it's starting up way in the corner. This screen here that you see, it's like the right side of my widescreen monitor. So we can set the, guess it's just center. Center work? Center might work. Otherwise, I would have to kind of guess on where we should locate it. But so every time I save, it's actually going to rerun and close this window. And I want it to just continue to start up where you can see it right away, and I don't have to move it every time. Property center is not allowed. Wait, whoa. Is it right here? Put it in the wrong section. Yeah. All right, so now hopefully it'll start up. So you can see building 345 out of 346. The only thing that I changed was config related to my app. So the app is the only thing that needs to rebuild. There we go. Okay, now it's starting up in the center. We want to do, let's do set decorations to false, and we can see what that looks like. Then I want to see if I can try this other plugin. Oop, false. Set decorations is not allowed. Is this, it is just, that's what I thought. What am I looking at then here? Ah, allow list. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, so the, I wish I could make some of these sidebars smaller too. That would help as well. Gracias. So there is the, okay, there we go, much better. There's allow list is, it's got to be in here, right? Allow list. So there's this thing called the allow list, and that's a list of the APIs that are available and packaged when you bundle it. So the idea being here that if you're not using a feature, you can actually turn it off and then it won't get bundled and it's not going to include it in your bundle. And it's also a way to reduce this potential security footprint. If you're not using an API and it's turned off, that's another route that somebody's unable to, I guess this kind of falls into the CSP as well. But like you can turn off these features if you're not using them, and then it eliminates the security risk of including something and not configuring it correctly. Like if you're not using it, you're not going to bother configuring it or anything. So you might as well just turn it off. Okay. Should we? Oh, it stopped running. Okay. Let's close this. We'll get a rebuild there. And then let's see if we can get this working. So I think this is going to give us a window. Basically, I'm not going to have like an X or anything to click on. And since we haven't designated any of this as draggable, like I literally can't even move it. So it's just a window that's floating there. that I can't interact with anymore because we've removed the decorations, which is the chrome around the window, which is what allows you to interact with the window. So if you're doing this, then you need to, in your web view, use the API to do any of the normal OS level functions that you would have to that you normally have. So dragging, you need to mark something as draggable so you can move the window, and then minimize, close, maximize, that sort of thing. So let's see if we can do this. And I'm not certain this is necessarily going to work. I don't know if we've changed stuff enough in Tauri that this is going to need an update, but so I guess let's try the vibe. Well, let's try the blur. Let that rebuild. Okay. Use of undeclared crate. Window-vibrancy. Don't need any of those. And then we need the window. That's the hook that we're missing. So specifically in Tau, we get access to the window. We can also get access to the window via Tauri. Right, is that the only thing we're going to need? Window with decorations, window builders. Yep. Oh, yes. Is that it? I mean, we still need to grab, we need to get a reference to the window in here, but yes, let's add it. Have they made cargo a cargo add yet? I know they were talking about it. I don't know if it ever came. Yep, you still need to get the window instance in the setup hook. Yep. Yep. Can you help me out here? Or I might have to look it up. Oh, no, I don't want to open up the docs. 0.1.3. Okay. All right. And we need to do this. Okay, you still have to install cargo edit. I know they were talking about adding that as like a base function to cargo, but I don't know if that actually has gone through yet. So now it's adding the window-vibrancy and the other things needed to handle that. And we need the hook to window, which I do not remember how to do offhand. Building. So window menu. Nope, that's not it, is it? No. Oh, gotcha. That's the actual like file menu. Is multi-window gonna have a? So this is how to build up a new. Okay, so we need to do, and this is the setup hook that Lucas was talking about. I thought we had a example doing something with the window. Oh, you know what? I bet you I'm thinking of. Okay, I think I was looking at the right spot then. I think I also have it here. Yep. So invoke setup. And then so maybe we can do something like that. Method not found. So that's changed, I guess. All right, let's look at this on the multi-window where we were kind of glancing at before. Multi-window. Accessing window at runtime. Oh, I don't actually need this either. Because I do not need to hide it. Do we need the... That might be the piece that we're missing. Yep, you need to import the manager trait. All right, looks like we're building. Hey, Amir. How are you doing? This. So we're playing around with their plugin. Definitely appreciate. Lucas is also on the core team. Definitely appreciate both of their work. All right, let's do. We've only got a couple minutes, and I need to bounce out of here. It seems to have compiled. We got the window. We're passing that down. Hi, Kitty. Yes, I understand you want attention. I think it's just that the background we have is not white or not clear, or we are setting a background. Where would that be? So if we just get rid of the where's the oh here background color. I was like, wait a minute. Is there another background color? Color, background, HTML, doing the app. Yeah, definitely appreciate you stopping by. What else could be coloring this? I think that's the issue here, right? We've got CSS that's applying a style. And that CSS is, let's just take off anything that's color related. I don't really care about that right now. You need to make the window transparent. Oh, yeah. Good call. So, nope, that's still the allow list. Did I? All right. We need to go to this. Here it is. So there's definitely caveats with this, but you know, for what we're doing, no big deal. Go to rebuild, and then hopefully, I kind of want to toggle this background color so we can see it. Like, we are hooking into the Vite dev server, so we can change the CSS here, and it's going to update like pretty lickety split here. Hey Lorenzo, there we go. We're getting a little weird stuff up at the top, which I think is with our web view, but you can see we're getting that blur. And if we put the background back in, you can see it's all covered. So we can do like a SVG or something that's with a star, and you can literally have an app that looks like a star. Technically, the window will still be square. I mean, there's not too much you can do about that, but it's like the clickable area for that window will be square. But yeah, let's try. What do we got? A couple minutes. Let's give the other one a try real quick. We used the blur, I believe. So let's try the vibrancy. And then I think we are going to... Oh, that's a Mac thing. That... Yeah, okay, yep, never mind. Vibrancy is Mac. Let's do acrylic then. Clear acrylic. So we want to do, oh, it's a different command. So we did apply blur. There's also a clear blur. Let's try a couple of these real quick. Clear variants are to remove the effects if you want to switch to another effect. Oh, okay. All right, so I guess what I really care about is, yep, Kitty, say hi. Of course, she's not going to talk now. I mean, now that you explain it, it makes sense. So I think maybe just a note about, you know, when you use apply versus clear. And it would be nice, the docs that you have are kind of more, at least in the examples and whatnot, are more like lower level kind of targeting. Even just like this little snippet, like get it started up on, you know, a Tauri app. I think that would be really nice. If you hover on it, the documentation explains. If I hover on it, on where am I hovering? In the ID. Oh, I got you. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And it would be kind of interesting to, like, have they gotten to the point where you can edit the error messages? Okay, so right now we have a background on there. We take the background off. Oh, it's interesting. You can see actually the decorations are still there. Is that what's happening? Okay, I think we can turn. So now if we turn off background color, what does that give us? I don't know if you can see down there, but there's a file. All right, well, I think that's going to be it for today. I need to get bounced into a meeting here. Wasn't paying too close attention to the time here, but yeah. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. Well, I'll keep playing with Tauri stuff over the next few months. I think I'll actually start using it in projects, and those projects might show up on the stream. But yeah, it was fun to play around with this. Thanks for the plugin. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the Tauri folks stopping by. See you next time. Have a good weekend. Bye.